Yup, I can show you that. Here we go right here, page 137. Here we go. First thing you should do is martial law is declared. Step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This book right here teaches you everything you need to do to live off grid, save your family in case of an invasion or civil war. And Navy SEALs bugging how to turn your house into the safest place on earth. This book right here is every American needs right here.
Welcome into Tommy Bites Homestead, Tommy Bites TV and Homestead. I'm definitely bringing you news right now. This is a homesteading channel, so I want you to know that. And as much as I want to get away from doing news, there is so much happening in 2025 right now that every now and then I need to bring you something because I need you to be aware of what's happening. I need you to stay safe, keep your head on a swivel. Chaos is breaking out all across the United States right now. Protests are happening due to the immigration law that was passed by the new president. There is right now protests that are happening across Dallas, California, and many more states that I'm about to tell you about. I also have some video clips that I want to put in here for you. I want you to keep your mental focus. I definitely don't want you to live in fear. Definitely live your life, but be prepared or preparing for the possibility of some form of martial law or something happening maybe in a city near you to try to bring peace back to that state. So there is information on 5051, which is a movement that is happening right now. I think they're saying it is a day without immigrants or something to that effect. They are having meetings, they are having marches, and they are having them on tomorrow. This is why I'm bringing you this information right now. I hope that you share this news out to others so they can be aware of what's happening, because you could just be living your own little life, you know, going to work, going to school, whatever you're doing, and actually run into one of these protests. And some of them have not been peaceful protests. I just want to say that.
People were upset at how the ICE protest went yesterday in LA. If you guys didn't know, thousands of people stopped traffic on a very busy freeway.
As we saw in Oakland and in San Jose, hundreds of people taking to the streets to have their...
So the following places they are having protests on tomorrow, and everybody's pretty much having them at noon or at 3 or at 2 and maybe one at 11 and 4 o'clock. So in Arizona, they will be having a protest at the state capitol at noon. California, they will be having a protest at the state capitol building at noon. Colorado, state capitol building at noon. Florida, Tampa City Hall at 3. Georgia, Centennial Park at 2. Idaho, state capitol steps at 11. Illinois, state capitol building at noon. Indiana, state capitol building at noon. Iowa, state capitol at noon. Kansas, state capitol building at 4. And I'm not done. I have more states that I'm going to give you as well. Also, in some of these clips, you will be seeing they're going to be talking about what's happening at the borders and what the other country is planning to do. So in Kentucky, they're protesting at the state capitol building at noon. Massachusetts State House at noon. Michigan State Capitol at noon. Minnesota St. Paul Technical College at noon. Mississippi State Capitol at noon. Missouri State Capitol building at noon. And this is all on February 5th. That one. Montana State Capitol at noon. Nebraska State Capitol at noon. New Hampshire State House at noon. New Jersey State House at noon. New York Capitol building at noon. And New York City Hall at 2 p.m. And I'm letting you know the time and all the places and stuff, not so you can go protest, but so that you can be aware and stay away from that area if you live near these places. In North Carolina, at the state capitol building at noon. I'm going to say that again. North Carolina, the state capitol building at noon. Ohio, State House at noon, and Willard Park at 4 p.m. Oklahoma, state capitol at noon. Oregon, state capitol building at noon. Pennsylvania, state capitol complex at 11 a.m. And then another one at William S. Moorhead Federal Building in Pittsburgh at 11 a.m. And Philadelphia City Hall at noon. In South Dakota, downtown Federal Courthouse at 3 p.m. Tennessee State Capitol at 1:30 p.m. Texas State Capitol at 11 a.m. and San Jacinto Plaza at 4 p.m. Vermont State Capitol at noon. Virginia Bell Tower at 12:30 p.m. Washington Tyvola Fountain North Lawn at 2:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. Capitol Building at 11 a.m. Wisconsin State Capitol at 11 a.m. Wyoming Capitol at 2 p.m. Y'all, all of this is going down because of the orders that were put in place. And so in some of these videos, you're going to see people being deported. You're going to see people actually fleeing the U.S. and trying to enter into Canada illegally.
At this point, you are in the United States of America. Does anybody have a valid visa currently for the United States? Yes. Even if it expires soon?
Yes.
Yes. Are you aware that the very minute you cross this border, your status in the United States is nullified?
Yes.
Okay. Have you started a refugee claim in the United States?
No.
Is there a reason why you have not?
What?
Is there a reason why you're choosing not to do a refugee claim status in the United States?
I told you, they are fleeing the United States and head to Canada.
As opposed to traveling to Canada to do the very same thing.
Yeah, you must not hear from us first.
I do.
Yes. Pardon?
Yes.
Do you know that there is a legal port not 3 kilometers from here where you can enter the country legally through the channels that are established? Yes? This is not a legal port of entry. This is an illegal point. This is not a way to come in. Okay. Is there a reason why you're choosing here as opposed to trying to go through the channels like everybody else that does?
No, we want to go through this one right here.
Okay, so you're aware that by crossing here, you're committing an illegal act?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure that you want the beginning of your life in Canada to start with an illegal
act? Future in Canada. That's why I'm here.
But you can start that same future in Canada at the legal
We
port.
want this place.
Why?
Because I want to go to Canada because I believe I can make it, and this is how I can handle Canada because I don't have a legal.
Do you have any family in Canada?
I don't have any family.
Do you have any family in
Canada?
No. Are you planning to claim refugee status in Canada?
Yes. Refugee? Yes, please.
Yes. Where are we coming from? Which countries?
Sorry?
Which countries?
Nigeria.
Okay. Are you aware that should your refugee class status be refused through Immigration Canada, you will be returned not to the United States, but in fact to your home country of Nigeria?
I understand. Yes.
Okay. So you may be refused that either way, correct? You're aware of that? The difference is, and I want to be clear though, the difference is if you're refused here, you're returned directly to Nigeria. However, since you have legal status in the United States, if you're refused there, you're returned to the United States.
No, I don't want to return back to the United States.
We want Canada here. We want Canada here.
It's very sad. They're willing to go to jail because they're coming from the United States. That's insane what is happening in 2025.
We are saving Canada.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that just because you come here doesn't mean you get to stay.
We are
Yes.
that.
Clear. You understand what it is?
Yes.
We understand that.
And we believe in this.
Yes. Do you have any questions for me?
No. We just want to come in. That's it. No. Please.
For the fact that we believe in Canada. that Canada can solve our problem. That's why we are here.
We are saving
And we don't have any other choice to go back.
Any other place to go back.
Our mind is made up. We want to come into Canada.
Canada.
Because we know Canada can save our life illegally. That's the way we're here right now. We understand everything you just said right now. And that is what we want right now. We want to come in illegally.
I'm just trying to understand why it is that you want to start your lives in Canada by an illegal act, rather than doing what everybody else who also wants to start their life in Canada is doing illegally. Why is it that you think that you can supersede the system?
Okay.
Do it illegally while everybody else still is choosing to do it legally?
I don't want to go through it legally. I want to come in because right now I understand I'm illegal if I go through this part. That is why. And I want to just go it. I want to follow my heart.
You're aware of what you're giving up when you come across.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I will jump. I got to go.
Come on with the bag.
Rwanda president begins deportation of USA mercenaries and illegal miners from USA. So Donald Trump thinks he's the only one who can enforce deportation policy. Right now, Rwanda President Kagame has started deporting US citizens from Rwanda back to their country. All right, so I'm supporting Rwanda.
Migrants shackled and in chains boarding a deportation flight. The Trump administration has released this footage touting the president's crackdown on illegal migration. These flights returning undocumented migrants from the US were happening even before Donald Trump returned to the White House. 1.5 million people were deported under Joe Biden, many of them similarly on planes and in chains. One key difference is that Donald Trump is now using military planes for deportations. These images show migrants, most of them men, on a jet with armed members of the military. From Trump's perspective, this is meant to be a show of strength, a sign that he's willing to use all types of government resources to fulfill his promises.
Hundreds of migrants are seen pretty much deporting themselves, leaving the United States. Where they're going, I am not sure.
You got one too. Why are you telling people no? You got one too. That's what you talk. That's what you talk. Fresh for real, B.
Developing news coming out as over the weekend we have seen chaos erupt across the United States with protests over the mass deportations. And let me go ahead and share with you the latest headlines coming out in the last 48 hours as we saw this unfold. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This actually is a map of all of the different states that have seen these massive protests that have unfolded. Map shows states where ICE protests are taking place. And this doesn't even capture them all as I've been doing more research here. But take a look. We've got California, Arizona, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Georgia, North Carolina. Let's take a look at some of these headlines so that way you can see it for yourself here. Take a look. Anti-ICE protests hold Los Angeles demonstrations. Protesters hold Los Angeles demonstrations. I'm going to share with you the video footage in the articles. Protests in downtown Los Angeles over ICE raids block the 101 freeway. North Texas protests call for an end to ICE raids. Immigration crackdowns prompt weekend protests in Houston and across the country. Demonstrators steal a police car during an anti-deportation protest in Arizona. Residents in Greenville gather to protest mass ICE deportations. Mass deportation protests shut down traffic in Buford Highway. Thousands protest in St. Louis over federal immigration policies. And Northwest Arkansas protests continue as immigration enforcement ramps up. We are seeing this taking place all across the nation now.
So yes, people are leaving on their own, but they're still illegally going somewhere else. I don't know how long this is going to go on. This is why I mention martial law, because if they can't get this under control, they're going to take control. The government is. Straight definition and not just what I heard or what somebody told me. So they're saying that martial law is the placement of civilian government by military rule and the suspension of civilian legal processes for military power. Martial law can continue for a specified amount of time or indefinitely, and standard civil liberties may be suspended as long as the martial law continues. Most often, martial law is declared in times of war or emergencies, such as civil unrest, repeat, civil unrest, and natural disasters. Legal justification for it is often the common law doctrine of necessity. So they can do this under necessity. I'm interested to know what you think about what's happening right now. And I also want to remind you, because I'm not going to do another news video today. I want to remind you that the tariffs that were supposed to take place today were postponed, not canceled, okay? The trade war has begun with U.S. and China. China has announced a package of tariffs on a range of American products in retaliation against that 10% tariff that President Donald Trump imposed on them. It comes after Trump agreed to suspend his aggressive tariff hike against Mexico and Canada by 1 month. That's it. After speaking with his counterparts in both nations, but the threatened Chinese tariffs went ahead at 12:01 Tuesday. The only reason I am updating you on that is because I have already covered the fact that these tariffs were supposed to start today. I wanted to give you that update. I'm glad they're now talking, because this actually averts that potentially trade war that was going to take place, and it was going to be costly on us, the people, okay? Remember the martial law I just got through telling you guys about? So I'm seeing here that Texas National Guard can now arrest and detain people who illegally enter the U.S. So we are using the military. We are also using the military planes to fly to deport these same people. Some of these people were already detained under the Biden administration, however, but Trump is definitely making sure they get to where they need to be. A lot of people are saying, hey, a day without immigrants, what does that look like? My daughter first told me about it yesterday, because I really have not been paying attention, y'all. I'm telling you, I try to stay away from it as much as possible now, because this will drain you dry. It will. And I was like, a day without immigrants, then nothing would get done, because we are all immigrants here in the U.S., except for one group of people. So that's saying something. But for me, it's not about the immigrants that are here. It's about the illegal migrants. And I think that's where the lines are blurred and people are getting it twisted. So back to the story. Texas National Guard soldiers can arrest and detain people for entering the U.S. illegally from Mexico under an agreement with Trump administration that expands the military's role in immigration enforcement. The new authority is to shift for the Guard and the military broadly, which has been limited to a supporting role for the Border Patrol.
Cartel authorizes the use of weaponized drones against ICE as well. Now, we had seen a shootout last week at the border, and now we're hearing they're weaponizing drones at the border to go against ICE. The cartel is, and take a look at this, threats have been made on social media against ICE. Posts suggest ways to end the lives or harm federal ICE agents.
So I really do hope that this video was useful, that you got something from it. Please hit that like button, share the video out, and leave comments. Those things help get this video out to more and more people, so more and more people will know what exactly is going on. This is news you can use here on Tommy Bites Homestead. I appreciate you being here. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I'll see you guys later today. We need to pray, we need to plan, we need to prep. And in prepping, not just prepping food, but medical supplies as well, a way to protect your home, your family, and within your home, your preps. Make sure you're able to do that as well. Okay? Stay alert, stay aware, stay safe. I love you, but God truly loves you more. He created only one you. Be the very best you that you could be, and when you are, go out and spread God's love. Peace, love, and light. Thanks for being here on Tommy Bites Homestead.
Right now I'm standing in the corner. I see you from across the room. It's kinda crowded here, but I know you see me too. Everybody's singing, oh, everybody's singing, oh.